welcome back to the Best Overall Show. My name's Cass,
I'm Joe.
and we are missing a Noah. I think we need to send him the link. I think I just saw a message.
He
If you
got it.
have that handy. Oh, you got it. Good.
It's already
So
sent.
Noah will be joining us very shortly, but it's been a while. It's good to be back. How are you
Yeah,
doing, Joe?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
I am good. I'm very tired. It's been
I
a
have
long week,
I have
but good.
recovered from Champions Cup. Oh, there's Noah. Hey. Oop. Apparently someone cut the power at his house.
A little in and out.
Yeah. Yeah. How are you doing, bro?
I am good. I'm exhausted. Work and life have been a lot since Champs Cup. Actually, since before Champs Cup. I was on a work trip. Before that, I went on a work trip immediately after. Like, I flew home on the Monday. I flew out to Montreal on the Tuesday, and I flew
Oh
back on the
yeah.
Wednesday. So, like, that 5 day work week last week, I was on a plane 3 days of it. So, yeah, been exhausted, but a good friend of mine planted an interesting hobby bug in my brain that has been carrying me through.
Yeah. Well, how was Montreal? I heard it's a very haunted city. Is that true?
Probably,
Oh.
but I did not experience any ghosts. Just a wonderfully delicious meal. I went and visited a friend who is a chef at Candide, who is also a member of Team Canada, John Winter Russell. So I went and had dinner at his restaurant, and then yeah, had my meetings. Everything was good. Flew back home. But again, thinking of this project that I'm probably going to talk about a little bit later, um, it's somewhat Ultramarines related. But
You should talk about it later because it's awesome.
oh, I've been talking about it
Oh, do we have
this
a
whole time.
handy cam Noah here?
I'm here on my phone, and I have a special treat when we get to talk about it because I'm actively setting up for Cascade right
Oh. Well,
Amazing.
let's jump right into that. Boom.
now.
There's
What's
the
up?
graphic.
Let's go! All right, so fresh off Champs Cup, Team Aegis is now transitioning into running stuff mode instead of playing in stuff mode. So we got some tables set up. We're doing layouts 1 and 8 on day one. Tomorrow's the RTT and Invitational. And then from there, we have the GT starting on Saturday, and it's a double golden ticket event.
Wild.
We have 84 people signed up after drops. We had 90. We've had drops from some people catching COVID, and a couple drops from unforeseen errors. But we are currently rocking 84 people to kick off on day one of the major, and we'll have a best overall and best general golden ticket for invitation to the World Championships of Warhammer.
Fantastic. And I got to give kudos because I think it speaks volumes that this is technically an event that is not even a year old. And you
That
got
is
two
true.
golden tickets. That is a huge vote of confidence because the first one went so overwhelmingly well.
We have gotten so much positive feedback about the first one. Enough people have said nice things about it that people I don't know who have found out who I am have come up to me and talked to me about it.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That
it's
is
pretty stuff.
awesome.
We have Joe from War Games Live now. This one too.
Wait,
Oh,
Joe's
wow.
coming?
Yeah, here's the War Games Live setup is active.
Oh, man.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, so we'll be on War Games Live all weekend. The RTT tomorrow, we'll have an invitational. So the invitational is super sick. We have people representing different areas of the Northwest. So we had some people cancel in last minute, so we have a couple fill-ins. But so from the top of the Northwest, we've got Liam Bass and Josh Bagwell are going to be playing. From the east side of Washington, we've got Jubilee, and who's a content creator on TikTok, and her podcast host Dina, who will be both playing. We have Mr. Who else? We have from more of like our area. We have Zach Melrose playing Space Wolves. We've got some people from further south, like Tommy Aguilar, playing Grey Knights. We've got like people from Canada all the way to the very south part of Washington. We didn't have any Oregon people, but they're there in spirit with the south part of Washington.
Amazing.
And then whoever wins, we're going to work with the winner to donate to a charity that they suggest for an amount somewhere in the range of between $300 and $500.
That's fantastic.
Wow. How far of a drive is that, like from Portland up to Bellingham?
It is 4.5 hours from where I'm standing right now.
Oh, that's not bad at all. Jeez. That's an easy drive. All right.
Yeah, smooth. Last one we had 110 after drops. This one we're at 84 after drops so far, which is like 26 people less, but the other one is in March and this one is October. There's a lot more gaming events going on in October.
Yeah.
So there's a lot more competition. Mr. Castra is our very own head paint judge. Tell me about hobby judging, Cass. How was it last year?
I actually had the best experience. It's funny. I was talking to Joe about this before we came on live as we were catching up, and it was I kind of operated under the pretense of I wanted to be the paint judge I always wish I had. So I gave a lot of feedback to those that wanted it. We basically had a system where there's a self-score rubric, and then I come in and make my own judgments, adjust the points up and down. But there was a lot of folks that were like really keen on feedback, and so I definitely leaned into it and I gave them levels. I'm like, okay, well, if you want a couple immediate quick tips that are gonna improve this and improve your score, here you go, all the way up to helping people kind of solidify the entire theme of a paint scheme and add elements of color theory and lighting and different things. So I found it was a really great opportunity to kind of give back to other folks that that were really hungry for that advice and that guidance. And I got a lot of positive feedback from attendees that it was well judged and they really enjoyed it and appreciated it. So it was easy enough to convince me to come back.
Well, that's awesome. I'm glad you enjoyed it. It was definitely cool. Joe, you were missed. Someday we'll get you up here for it.
Well, yeah, I'm definitely planning on probably coming to the one next March.
Let's go.
I just need
the March one is going to be not only bigger in the 40K sense, but we're going to be adding Kill Team, and we're going to be adding Blood Bowl, and a couple other cool things.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Is that Underworld's game just not a thing anymore?
It is a lot in the UK.
Oh, okay.
There's not a lot of Underworlds over here, but except at the GW actual like open events. But Underworlds is actually pretty big in the UK.
Man, I had the game on Steam and I actually really liked it, and it just like they just stopped supporting it. I thought they were gonna be like keeping it up with the different warbands that came out. But it's a bummer.
I actually played that game when it first came out with a couple buddies, and it was awesome.
Yeah,
like really fun game.
Yeah, it's a sweet little game. I'm kind of surprised it's kind of like tapering off. Jeez.
It makes me wish I had the mental bandwidth for another game, but when you play like competitive 40K, like I barely play video games. I played Space Marine 2 for literally 2 days, beat the single player campaign, and was like, well, that's good enough.
Wow. How many hours is that?
It was more.
I think the campaign is like 8.5, 9 hours of play.
Oh, that's not long at all. Jeez. Okay.
It might be 12. It's not super long.
No. There was moments that me as an Ultramarine fanboy, I was literally just crying and screaming at my TV at 2 a.m, Courage and Honor, when my fiance got up and looked at me like, what the fuck are you doing?
Wasn't Titus a captain in the first game? Did he get demoted?
Yeah, he did. He did get demoted.
Okay.
Not to, we won't spoil anything, but we'll say that Titus did, at the end of the first one, he got remanded to the Inquisition. After being remanded to the Inquisition and finding no taint, he was turned over to the Death Watch as the Black Shield.
Oh, what are
And
you? What is Cass peacocking over there?
I had to. So I definitely got the Secret Labs Ultramarine chair, and it's
oh
fantastic.
shit,
Since we were talking about my brother Titus, I thought
yeah. And so then, and basically the opening introduction of the game, you are Titus um, as a member of the Death Watch, and some things conspire, and you end up back in the with Ultramarines, but you are now a lieutenant, no longer a captain. So
Tough break, bro.
it's
I
sort of
mean,
What
sometimes.
exactly did he do at the end of the first game? I can't
so
remember.
literally all he did in the first one, which like pisses me off actually, because that dude was a dick.
Leandros.
Is yeah, is
I'll never forget.
all he did is not be corruptible. That's what he did.
Oh, okay.
He was able to touch the taint of chaos and didn't become a jerkbag. And so they definitely assumed he was going to be a jerkbag because he wasn't a jerkbag, which I don't understand. That's some closed-minded xenophobic shit.
Yes. All
Yeah.
right. Hobby progress.
All right. Did you get my board game pieces in there?
No, you didn't. I didn't get
I
anything
sent you.
from you.
Yeah, I sent you last time before the last one.
They're not. They're not in the chat anymore. I went looking for them. They're missing.
All right.
We'll get them
So
next. We'll get them next time.
I
Fine.
got to give a bit of a preamble on this.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I've been playing Grey Knights for the last two events that I went to, which were both team events. I merked in with some of the fellows from mid table for a team tournament in Kelowna, and I also came with Team Aegis and ran the same list at Champs Cup. And I gotta say, I liked it. Grey Knights just felt like what my Vanguard were doing, but more combat oriented and better at it. I had a lot of fun, like a lot of fun. And as we were having lunch at Panera one day at Champs Cup, my good friend Joe just casually said, "Why don't you paint him like Ultramarines?"
Oh, we were not at Panera. We were at the barbecue place.
Oh, okay. So
This was-
you
this
took
was-
advantage of a meat coma.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that
This was
place
deep
was
in the
the-
meat thoughts.
That place was the womb of invention.
That's true. Yes. Okay. You know what? I forgot because I was in a meat coma. That barbecue place was so good. Sweet baby Ray. Oh my god.
Yeah.
But yeah. So Joe just planted the seed and said, "But what if they were Ultramarines?" And I have basically only been thinking about how do Ultramarinesify Grey Knights ever since. And I am so busy. I have commissions I have to get done. I have not been sleeping much, but I made a test model for a strike, which is what you're looking at right now, as well as a Terminator.
Is this a stern guard?
This is a stern guard, yeah. So
Okay.
a stern guard, and I just transplanted the gun and the helmet. And honestly, I am loving it. I think they're gonna have
Great.
Ultramarine symbols on one, the Librarius symbol on the other, which I have just basically made an STL out of another thing to be able to print out. So that's coming.
You'll have to get Tigurius in Terminator armor so he can be Draco.
I was thinking about it. I think I'm gonna go another route and have it be like another librarian who is not talked about and it's like redacted.
Wow.
And I might go as far as saying it's Ilian Natase, which is the retconned half Eldari Space Marine librarian. I mean, if you're gonna like, redact anyone,
Who
So,
knew the
we'll
genes
see.
were compatible?
who knew? But yeah, so that's all still mulling in my head. But then the Terminator, yeah, this was fun because playing all of the tiny Terminators. Lovely models. I got to borrow Tommy's Grey Knights, and I really appreciated it because they're pretty. But playing with the tiny models, it made me realize that I just needed to see Grey Knight Termies upscaled, and so this is a kit bashed regular Terminator with the actual Terminator kit. I've given them psychic hoods for the strike as well.
Nice.
I'm really looking forward to kind of actually getting some paint on these and fleshing it out.
How are you gonna get that many psychic hoods?
I own the appropriate amount of Grey Knight Terminators. So I'm
crap.
just my kit bash is not to like stretch anything out. Let's be clear. I have a lot of models. I barely had to buy anything for this, Joe. This was just in the closet for the most part. A couple conversations with some friends that had stuff that they didn't want as well. But yeah, no, like I have 30 Terminators of the of the current Grey Knights, and I have 30 Terminators from Leviathan at times a bunch, and the Deathwing assault box. So I figure, you know what? This is going to be one really cool army. Let's go.
It is. It's going to be super cool thematically, and it's going to be heavily converted. So you're going to be just killing it on the hobby tracks, sir.
That is the hope. I have often been defeated in many a hobby rubric because I have very minimal conversions in my armies because they're Ultramarines.
I have that same problem with Sisters and Eldar. So I feel your pain.
Yeah, it's tough. But you gave me a gift, Joe. So thank you for this idea.
You're welcome. I'm glad to see it's coming to fruition.
It has nothing to do with what currently I've painted, but I have a bunch of Space Wolf, Thunderwolf calves that was given to me in trade. And I have a bunch of the Space Wolf infantry models. So I'm going to and there's a purple paint scheme that's similar to what you do, Joe, for your Dark Eldar that I did a dry brushing tutorial on how to do non-metallic gold and the purple on Goonhammer. And so I'm going to basically going to do an entire army because way back in the day, me and my wife had an anniversary. One of the things we did is we painted some models together. This was like 10 years ago. And we painted a set of purple Terminators that we called the crudest dudes. And so then I redid them in that Goonhammer. So I painted them in my, they were some of the early models I ever painted. Didn't look great. But then I repainted them in that Goonhammer tutorial. And now they look sick. So now I'm painting an entire Space Wolf army that will be dubbed crudest dudes.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then I painted some. I have discovered I really love painting models for board games. I just painted for a game called Stuffed Fables. I gave it to a friend for their birthday. And I told them that also, if they so chose, they could redeem a voucher for me to paint the models that come with the game. And they chose to, and they're like, the story is a bunch of little stuffed animals are animated. They're trying to save their little girl who was stolen into like a nightmare realm underneath the bed.
Oh.
And so there's like a creepy wizard, and then there's like a little girl in a nightgown, and there's like a little lion stuffed animal and a little elephant stuffed animal and a little bunny, and some little sock puppet guy holding a number 2 pencil as a spear. And then some like nightmarish like metal dogs and some like stuffed animal monsters and stuff. And so painted that up. That was super fun. And now I'm just waiting for points to drop to see what I'm going to take to WCW.
Oh, wow. When is that supposed to release?
The points drop was supposed to be last Thursday. It didn't happen.
Oh.
It was supposed to be yesterday. Or supposed to be today. Didn't happen. The current best
I saw a thing that said later this month.
Yeah, I think it's going to be next week or the week after.
I suspect it will be this month, but later.
You're so smart.
That's all I got. I'm a smart ass. It's different.
Oh,
Oh, damn.
this was just some stuff I was just painting because I didn't have anything fun to do. So I'm just getting back into the 20th Legion.
Beautiful.
Yeah, buddy.
Love that
But
scheme.
thanks. I had my Horus Heresy army in the like iridescent Alpha Legion color, but um kind of as like my skill has improved painting, I really don't care for that paint scheme that much.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
hard to like freehand stuff on it and go back and do touch ups. It's like
totally. It's a bit of a gimmick
yes.
compared to the amount of like when I look at your blends and your the level of contrast, like from your darkest blue to your brightest blue, it's skill expression. Like there's skill expression in playing Warhammer and there's skill expression in painting. And doing a paint scheme like that doesn't really allow room for said expression.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas this is, and I feel like you've captured a little bit of that iridescence by having a bit of like a purple, it seems, on the metallics.
Yeah.
And I feel like that spiritually still carries that sort of like classic Alpha Legion, but in a much nicer way.
They actually were originally purple armor before they met their Primarch. Plural. In parentheses.
Yes. I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah. And they were called the Ghost Legion.
Fitting.
Yeah. Yeah. I really waffled back and forth on the bases, and I initially did them all metal. I was like, this looks terrible. And then I was like, I'll just do kind of a marble color and leave the metal undertones. Yeah. And since I'm always getting knocked down for my bases, I'm like, I'm just going to use the pre-made ones that look good so people can't dock me on my bases. So,
I mean, those are the ones I use. I do add a ton of stuff because I'm insane, but I love these bases. They're like the base of everything I do.
Yep. So these guys are getting put on hold though because I apparently have 2 kill rigs I have to paint with it before the end of the month.
Okay, so we're playing some orcs.
Yes, I was bullied by one of my orc friends into playing orcs again. So,
I mean, to be fair, I think the happiest Joe I've known has been playing orcs.
Yes, as we will discuss, playing Drukhari is like 130% brain power every game, and it just leaves you incredibly drained. Much like how they drain their enemies in combat of their souls.
True.
But, yeah. All right. Champs Cup. We were there.
We played some Teams Warhammer.
Noah, do you want to talk about your list? Noah. We can come back to Noah.
We can come back to Noah. He's probably doing some stuff. All right. So.
Oh, there he is.
Let's go.
Sorry, there was a very loud sound happening in the room I was in.
Oh, that's
fine. And if I unmuted you, you all would have murdered me.
I appreciate you.
Okay, what are we talking about?
Champs Cup.
Talking about Champs Cups lists.
Yes. Champs Cup was fun. I was still kind of like learning Thousand Suns, and there was a point where like my brain really clicked in on it, and so it was pretty cool. This list is super basic. Magnus, Aramon, basically maximum characters to get maximum Cabal points. A Mutalith, some Chaos Spawn, and 10 Cultists to throw away to do stuff. And 4x5 Rubric Marines. And there were definitely some things I didn't like about the list in the future.
Uh-oh. Noah has angered Zinch and has been frozen in time.
Yeah, Domo is frozen.
My connection's not great.
There we go.
My connection's not great, so I might jump off so I don't subject people to murder.
Mm-hmm.
But the list was good. I just felt like there's some things I would change going forward in the future. However, I scratched my Thousand Suns itch, and I'm ready to play other armies now. So I'm moving on to other things.
They're going on the shelf. Okay. What made
It
you
was a really
take
fun
Thousand
project.
Suns over anything else?
Just wanting team composition, and also I wanted to finish the Thousand Suns. I had started. They're like a cold steel blue with like ice bases, and that's something I hadn't done really before. So it was super fun to do. And now they're all painted up and back on my shelf. I'm currently enamored with the craziest, stupidest Custodes list of all time.
Oh dear.
I've oh, it's so good. We'll talk about it later. But so my general thing from Champs Cup was that it was super fun. Teams is definitely where I want to focus my time going forward. I had 3 wins and 3 losses. One of the losses was because we didn't understand the pairing, and so that was very evident in me getting my face pushed in. My favorite win was when I played against the Mirror, and my opponent told me all the reasons my list was wrong, and then I 20 0'd him. That was my favorite match.
That's just
And
good.
then I lost.
That's just good, clean fun.
And then I lost to Stephen Box's sisters, and I lost to that was like a 15-5, and I lost to the
Oh. Back to the planet of sorcerers.
The warp once more.
Okay. Yes.
Plots by the Lord of Change, indeed. Okay, so speaking of the warp, I've been playing Grey Knights. The list I took. So basically, what was told to me was, we need you to just be able to take, just about any matchup. You get 1 veto and like get a 9. So I had never played Grey Knights before. And
That was the stipulation given to you?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, I brought such a terrible list then.
What was the
Go on.
stipulation given to you?
No, just like I couldn't 1 veto. Like I needed like 5.
Basically, yeah. I mean, you know what? There's pairing princesses, and there's people who are made to be versatile. I'm a versatile player. That's what I do best. So it was putting me in where I'm used to being. But this list ended up doing better than that. But it's partially because I got some good pairings. So the list I went with was Drago. He was with a 5-man Terminator. These are both Brotherhood Terminators. I had the Grandmaster with a Sigil with the 10-man. And then 1 Libby with Inescapable Wrath. The reason he has that's the +1 to charge. The reason he has that is that in some matchups, he is with the 10-man Terminators because he gives a 4-up feel no pain against psychic attacks. So he came in handy in the 1 Grey Knight mirror I did play, and he also would have come in handy against T-Suns, but the pairing never happened. And then beyond that, I've got 3 units of 5 strikes. They are sticking objectives, doing actions, and I quite enjoyed them. And then 3 NDKs with the proper loadout, which is the Psy Cannon, the Flamer, and the Hammer. They were awesome. I've been trying out the All Terminator variety of Grey Knights, and it's a lot harder to use, but I do miss the Dread Knights. They're swingy, but they're fun, because there was a lot of times they did like nothing. All 3 of them together killed like 2 orcs, and I'm like, what do you mean? And there's other times where they solo God. So I really don't know what I think about them. But when they pop off, they're fun. So it's hard to say what my favorite match was. I ended up going undefeated, but I did get 2 draws. The draws, one of them was against Matt Laura playing Eldar, which kudos to him. That is a cancerous matchup, and he played a very fantastic game of Warhammer. It was a very fun game, and got to beat a draw out of me. And another was a fine gentleman playing an Orc Warhorde list, and actually we just had, I think that might have been my favorite game.
Wow.
Because we had a really great back and forth. Ricky was a great opponent. He was super fun. But yeah, I basically went 2 wins day 1, 2 draws day 2, 2 wins day 3. So it was nice.
very impressive. You did perform the second best out of everyone on the team.
Yeah, because the best performer on the team was only beaten by one Liam VSL. So kudos to Nicholas Fromme for being an absolute beast of
Yeah.
a Sisters player. But yeah, that was me.
Yeah, here's the world's worst Drukari list. I had 3 Archons in Lilith, 10 Cobalites, which always got split into the Venoms, and then 10 Witches to go with Lilith. 30 Incubi, 3 units of Mandrakes, 3 units of Scourges, and then 4 Raiders and 2 Venoms.
So this looks like a nightmare for like me to be across the board from. So why is it? Why do you hate the list so much?
Oh my goodness, it is just so susceptible to just getting into bad trades. And there's no, well, it's, I think Grey Knights might be the army I would want to play the least with this army, because you have to throw out 1 unit in a raider to go kill something, and then you're like shooting missiles out from safety, and then you just teleport away. And then I can't fight anything, and I'm just sitting there doing nothing.
And I also have a lot of flamers. But I think my Ultramarines list doesn't like this one bit.
Yeah, I think I would do a little better against that. Although everything gets -1 to hit, right? Over 18 inches.
Over 12.
Over 12, even better. Yeah, Scourges do not appreciate stealth.
No, that's true.
They're already just the worst shooting unit, and now adding stealth on top of that is just miserable. So
what kind of...
People were really afraid of the Scourges, and man, they are just total coin flips all day.
Yeah. Yeah, again with these swingy units, I'm starting to appreciate them less and less myself. So I hear you when you're like, meh, to the Scourges.
If I could take 60 Incubi, I would just do that, but that's not allowed. Mandrakes, the Mandrakes were fantastic. I would always use 3 units of them again. So.
Oh yeah, yeah. Those are the thing I would try to kill the first. I think because they're scoring you a lot of points. They're doing very important things, while the incubi and just kill things.
And I think the biggest letdown was probably Lilith and the Witches, because most of the time, especially against vehicle heavy lists, they just don't have anything to go into, and they usually would just sit in a raider all game and then just go try to score points on the last turn because they're OC2.
How many points is that?
They're all about like 250 points with their characters. Yeah.
That's not a lot.
That's a lot for me.
It's not nothing.
That's not a big investment. Yeah. And she's only damaged 1 despite having a billion attacks. You'd think like she's like supposed to be one of the most deadly gladiators in the whole galaxy. So you think if she gets into one-on-one combat with another character, she should just mulch them. But let me tell you, that does not happen.
Yeah,
Ahriman only took 2 damage from her after her hitting him like 16 times, and then anti-infantry 2+. So, come on.
Does she just have no AP?
She's AP 4.
What the hell?
And dude was just making 4-up saves, and then he could re-roll 2 or 3 of them, and then he could just blank 1. So it's like, well, I guess I do no damage.
Yikes.
Yeah. Anyway, so that happened. Here's our team. Oops. I actually didn't realize, what is this crazy team Nick is on? Sheoldred? Anyway. And honestly, I thought Donald was the captain, because he was doing all the pairings.
I feel like Donald was the captain, to be honest.
And he was the one that went to the captain's meeting.
That's why I feel that way. Yeah. It was a good time.
Yeah, we had Donald Plummer on Tau, Greg Zimmerman on Tyranids, which is not his main faction, and he was struggle busing per his own admission. As was
But
I.
he was a champ, and so were you. You made it to the end.
And then we had Lee Steiger on Custodes. The incomparable Nicholas Fromy on Adeptus Sororitas. And I'll let you try and pronounce Nick's last name.
Nick Villegas playing Dark Angels.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then the three of us.
Yeah.
Well, round one, we went into SF40K. I'm not sure what the SF stands for.
Swamp Foxes, I believe. It was on their jerseys.
Swamp Foxes. Okay, I definitely missed that. Who did you play into?
I played my good man, Mikey D, and this was my Grey Knight Smear.
Oh, this was the Grey Knight Smear. Okay.
Yeah, so when Mike was such a delight to play. Absolutely lovely guy. And, like, there was just, it was a fun game, too. Like, wild stuff happened. But right when we're setting up, and I'm telling him where my characters are going, I'm like, yeah, the Libby's in the 10-man, because, 4-up, feel no pain against all psychic attacks. And he's like, you mean psychic mortal wounds, right? I'm like, no. And he looked at it, and he's like, oh, no. And that unit basically won me the game. Because, I don't know if you know this, but everything other than Stormbolters and Incinerators in Grey Knights is psychic, including the close combat attacks.
This was the unit led by the Librarian?
Yeah. So I put it in the 10-man Termi unit, and then it's like, okay, like, did you kill 2 with your entire army? Cool. One of them comes back.
Oh.
Yeah.
Soul crushing.
It was savage, but Mike was such a and he played hard. He kept it closer than I wanted, but he definitely it was a wild game. I had one of my Dread Knights just survived the Wrath of God and just was not dying. I just was making every 4-up for a while, and that combined with the stuff the Libby unit did, stole his home objective for me. On Lynchpin, no doubt, which is really great mission to steal your opponent's home objective on. But yeah, super fun game, super fun round. Who did you play?
I played David Savage on Thousand Sons, and this will be a recurring theme throughout most of the tournament.
And we loved you for it.
And I was pulling secret missions out of my butt every game to extremely successful results.
Yeah, secret missions are something.
Yep. So, and Dave was just kicking my butt all game, because he can double move everything and then shoot damage to flamers at me and from 18 inches away and then overwatch me, and it's just really horrible for Drakari to go into. I can't remember what his list really was, but basically what happened, he was ahead all game, and then I think on the last turn I just did a secret mission and flipped it into an 11-9.
Amazing.
Hold the 3 middle objectives. That was my go-to. I don't know what it's called. Is that Unbroken Wall?
I think so.
Yeah.
I always have to look it up.
Yeah. Okay.
Awesome.
Here's us. Look at the bald power on this team. We had 5 bald people on the team.
It was a beautiful sight.
Yeah. I think Nick and Lee are holding us back. They need to just shave their heads and get on board, and then we can have this sort of bald psychic mind meld going on.
We'd have to all get psychic hoods, though. Attached. Well, we could put fans in them.
Yeah, you can't even see the real hero of the tournament, which was your neck fan you gave me.
Yeah. No, the hall was rather warm, and it was before round 1.
That is an understatement.
Before round 1, I look at Joe, and he is liquid. He is sweat. And I was like, oh, I brought this for me, but you need it more than I do. So yeah, you started looking human again after I gave you that. So I'm glad that
It
I did
was
bring it.
so unbelievably hot. I mean, just walking outside, like your
Oh,
skin
outside was
looking-
disgusting.
Well, it's like you go outside and then you go back in and you just don't cool off. You're just baking at 95 degrees for the rest of the time you're there.
You're like meat at rest after being barbecued.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're still cooking on the inside.
A little bit, just slowly.
Yep.
Yeah.
So neck fan was incredible. I need to order one still because
There's your friendly reminder.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yep, this was us playing SF40K, and we did lose that round.
We did.
61 points.
Yeah.
What's the threshold again for a draw?
I believe 50. Or actually, I have no idea.
No.
That was above my pay grade. It just said go play Grey Knights.
Well, just for like is it 80 points? Is that what a draw is for teams? I think so.
I don't recall.
Okay.
My
Anyway.
brain is Cujo. It's been a long week. I'm running on minimal sleep.
All right. Then we played Lightly Salted, the Himalayan chapter. So this was a team that had multiple teams. This club had multiple teams.
Yes.
There were several like that. So
This round was really fun. I enjoyed our team here. I ended up playing against the World Eaters, which was actually
Derek.
Yeah, it was Derek, but it was actually a Thunder Warrior army converted.
Oh.
Yeah, it was cool. It was a really cool idea. He had like a golden dragon thing as Angron. I didn't love that one too much. It was a cool model, but it didn't make sense to me.
A golden dragon?
Yeah, it was a dragon painted gold.
Oh.
But ignoring that,
like a Age of Sigmar dragon?
yes, I think.
Oh, that's very strange.
It was different, but everything else was really cool. Like his Khorne Berserkers were just Thunder Warriors. His Forge Fiends were these like golden brass bull things. It was a very interesting army. It was fun opponent. He played it very well, but I was losing the entire game, and then I pulled off my secret mission because secret missions are completely fun and balanced mechanic. I'm being very sarcastic. I had no business winning this game, and I flipped it into a 14-6 win.
Wow.
Like, it was wild. But also, Grey Knight's good at killing demons. I didn't do it in this round because I didn't need to. Like, because my Libby just went and rolled a 6 and then rolled a 5 and a 6, and I think I did 11 mortal wounds to Angron. Just for fun. So I didn't need to use the strat, but I have grown to really love asking my opponent what's a demon in their army because it's more than you would think. Like all of the 8-bound are demons.
Oh, because they're like
so that's
possessed.
Fun.
Yeah.
But why it was really fun was you can one-shot big demons because you just use the 2 CP strat to give Drago, who is anti-demon, 2-up combat attacks that are 3 damage apiece. So it gives him devastating wounds, you see. So
brutal.
Spoiler alert, in a later round I one-shotted an avatar for fun. It was amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah. So that helped a lot in this matchup, but basically I didn't score primary until round 3. So I scored some, and because this was the one where you're making objective markers.
Yes, the ritual. Yeah,
the ritual, and I decided I wasn't gonna just make markers that he could take away from me by pushing me off. So I waited, and then I killed his wave that attacked me, and then I went and just kind of picked off where the berserkers and stuff in the back line that I could, scoring my points. And yeah, flipped it in the end with
which secret mission did you do?
I did Warlord on his home objective.
Ooh, interesting.
Because my Warlord is Drago, so I figured I can come out of Deep Strike, and use my once per game to give myself a +3 to the charge.
Mhm.
So I come out of Deep Strike. I need a 6 on dice. I CP reroll it if I need to. It's a like 10% chance of failure. I was playing TTS last night and it did fail twice. So it can happen. But in the tournament, it didn't happen to me. And in this one, it got me my 20 points. So
That's awesome.
yeah. Who did you end up playing? You were this was the Demons one, wasn't it?
Yes, I did play into Demons, which I learned is another horrible matchup for Drakari. Because everyone's telling me, oh, it's so easy. Scourges are so good at killing the big demons. I'm like, no, they aren't, because they hit 50% of the time, and then they're going to wound on a 3 with no sort of rerolls, and then the demon just gets to make a 4-up invulnerable save, which they can reroll, obviously. So at best, you're getting 1 or 2 Dark Lances through, which is not usually going to happen.
That's not
And
what you want.
some of them have feel no pains on top of that. So I was getting crushed all game. It was not looking good. And I pulled another secret mission out of my butt.
Okay,
And
which one?
the same one, the hold 3, because I made an objective on the bottom of turn 5.
Oh yeah, that one would have been a really easy one.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, because I think
Noted.
we had made, I want to say we had made like 6 objectives in the midfield that game. We ran out of
Space.
Well, we ran out of the markers between the two of us. Yeah. Well, so I didn't even realize this. He pointed it out to me that they have to be exactly 12. Is it 12? From
12 from
an existing
objective.
one. Yeah, from an existing one. I thought it was 12 from all of the objectives.
No. It's 12 from one of them and 6 away from the rest.
Yeah, so we ended up just making a huge cluster of them, like, on my side of the table, which was, he was holding all of them because he's got giant greater demons that I can't kill sitting on them. And, yeah, oh boy, those blood crushers, those things just ran amok through my whole army. It was, oh, we're just going to do 12 mortal wounds on the charge, and then he'll pick them back up next turn, and then, just start chaining them to come back down from the greater demons again. So it was just like every turn I was just getting like a 3-inch charge from these blood crushers, and they were just wiping the floor with me. But that was bad. So yeah, I flipped that back into a draw, which Nicholas was quite surprised at by the end of the game, because he firmly was in control the whole time.
So we both did our opponents dirty.
Yeah.
This round.
So that was good. It was good. Just that feeling of getting destroyed, and then like, oh, my score doesn't matter now.
JK, 20 points. Yeah, and I believe we won that round. And as punishment, we had, I say punishment, but it was actually a lovely round. We played Vanguard Tactics. Because, yeah, that is not who you expect to run into after you've had a loss, is all I'm saying.
And we did have sushi the night before.
Yes, we had hibachi. That was delightful. The food, I gotta say, was really good.
I definitely, I did not check my bill, and I'm sure I paid for somebody else's dinner. Because it was way more than what I ordered.
Oh, no.
But shame on Joe. Anyway.
So, who did you play this round? You go first.
Oh, I played TJ Lanigan on Thousand Suns. And, wow, that was a lesson in humility. Yeah, that was basically just like him taking out the garbage. I mean, everything I did, he already had like a backup plan for it. So it was an exercise in futility. Neither one of us, like, I mean, it was very non-committal the whole game. I don't think we even really did anything until turn 4. And I mean, I was just bleeding units the whole game, because when you can double move and shoot flamethrowers at elves, they don't live very long. So
no, they don't.
So
Yeah.
I did manage to get 1 single point out of that game, which was 1 more point than I expected.
Good man. Good
Yeah.
man. So I ended up playing Matt Laura with his Eldari. A matchup which, army to army, definitely, like, I should be 20-0ing that if you take everything else out of account. But, I mean, I don't know if you've heard of Matt Laura. He's pretty good at Warhammer. Kind of won a small tournament you might have heard about called LVO and been to the finals twice. Excellent player.
Wow.
Lovely dude. And I gotta say, I love that we were talking about his army and he was telling me the fluff, and it was like he was so giddy about it and so into it, and I was just like, you're the whole full rounded, you like the painting, you like the hobby, and you're really good at the game. That's awesome. So shout out to Matt. We had an amazing game, and he played a frustratingly perfect game. And he had table pick, and it was the perfect table for him. It was the GW layout. I forget the number, but it had the big Super L that he got to hide his entire army behind, come out, shoot, go back. And yeah, as I said, he played a very, very tight game. I made some mistakes. He capitalized on them, and he was only 1 game point away from turning it into an 11-9 win.
Wow.
For him. But alas, he scored 5 points, not 6, and it was a draw. Very well fought. He had taken a secret mission against me, and I knew it was one of two: either Warlord on my home objective or owning the 3 middle, and I tried my best to stop both, and he ended up just killing just enough Terminators and I think enough strikes that he was able to take them, get all 3, swung the game quite big. But it was a very, very well fought game. Had a great time, but alas, we did get our butts thoroughly kicked this round.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
54 points. Was it? He did have them hold 3 middle ones?
He did have the whole 3 middle
Yeah.
ones, and he got
that
it by
one-
the skin of his teeth.
That one just seems so damn easy. Like, if you're going second, man.
Yeah, and that was what the other thing. It was him going second, so that that bottom of turn on that mission really helps you out, especially with going second, doing that secret mission. It's really not that hard. So, well done to
Yes.
Vanguard.
Vanguard
for
stomped us
stomping us
hard.
Yeah.
Oh, yep, there's us. And you can see my army and Donald's army in the foreground here.
Yeah.
And we both got a gold medal, which I'm not sure exactly what that means, but I'm not sure how the hobby scores even panned out, but we were
Yeah, I think
finalists, I guess.
Yeah, we were in the showcase for both Player's Choice and I believe Best Painted. They were looking at it, and I think because Tommy's army rather, that was what I was playing with, got a bronze medal. So I think that was kind of their way of marking each army, and then they probably took scores. This is conjecture, but
that makes a lot of sense, actually.
because I did see the Monument Hobbies gentleman, who's the head paint judge, individually going through each army and looking quite in depth. So I'd imagine that was his way of demarcating where he thought it was. And typically, if it's done in a European style paint judging for miniature painting, the silver, bronze, silver, gold categories are their own thing. I went to the Emerald Brush, which is a miniature painting, a proper competition, and I won a bronze on my Guilliman, because it meets those criteria. It's not a competition against other armies.
Oh, I see. Okay, so it's just categorizing you, basically.
Yeah, so you are a gold level army. Tommy's army is a bronze level army. There's silver level armies as well. Based on certain criteria. I didn't see the rubric. I don't know. Again, this is conjecture, but it is a system that I've seen used in other competitions, which is a fair extrapolation if I do say so myself. So,
All right. And there's a picture of the table, which the mats were super cool and the cards were super cool. I wish they were just available to buy those cards, like for every obviously
Pairing cards.
each team gets one, but then they could have just had more, available if you wanted to buy them for yourself too. But
I would have.
yeah, I would have too. But, all right, so we got smoked that round. Round 4 was fun because Valkyrie Wargaming is a Michigan team, so I was familiar with most of the people on this team.
Yeah, and this was where I played my second draw, which was Rick Kincaid playing his orcs, and as I mentioned, that was a super fun game. Wild, crazy melee in the middle. A lot of chaos was had, but in the end, it was a 10-10.
And that's really surprising because orcs really don't like Grey Knights all having 2-up armor saves and armor of contempt. That is just so painful.
Yeah, what really helped them was the what's the unit that does dev wounds against vehicles?
Dev wounds against vehicles.
Or maybe it's just anti-vehicle.
The Squigog boys?
Yeah. They ran through my my NDKs pretty easily.
Oh. They're still only AP 1. Wow.
Volume.
I mean, they do get a lot. Yeah, they do get a lot of attacks, though.
Volume. Yeah, that was it. He drowned me in dice, but it was more that like he did it while stealing objectives by out OCing and murdering me. Like it was a really well played game. I don't think it's a favorable matchup for the orcs typically.
Did he have 2 battle wagons?
He had 1 battle wagon and a bunch of trucks.
Did any of them careen?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about that. The first one he rolled didn't, but like I was like, oh no, careening. I haven't played orcs in a minute. Lunatics. I do, because like that. If I'm not mistaken, that's only in the Warhorde detachment. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's the best strategy.
Oh yeah. No,
not really, but
no, it's the funnest strategy.
Yes,
I understand. By orc logic, it's the best.
It's awesome because it lets the vehicle just move through other units too. So it's like, get out of the way.
Yeah.
I'm going to explode. Yeah. And I played Josh Howard and his Iron Hands list. And Josh actually lives sort of close to me, like 3 hours away. So I play against him regularly. And I did win that round. That was probably the most stable game I had because he had almost all vehicles and they kind of moved pretty slow, so I was able to just kind of corral him in, and it was table quarters.
Yeah.
So he just kind of got corralled, and he made a couple aggressive moves, which then just kind of got undone when the first turn he had his scouts just up in my grill to try to charge my scourges on turn 1, and I told him I have a reactive move. Keep that in mind. And he moved up. Oh, there's scourges right in the front, and then here comes a raider just putting the arm down on the parking lot gate.
Beep, beep.
Nope. You fight the raider instead. So, there wasn't a lot that was terribly interesting in that game. Lancers still just, woo. That is a reliable unit, especially in that detachment. The Gladiator Lancer, that is.
It's funny because I've seen them be so swingy, but I've also seen them be so consistent too.
Ooh.
It depends on who's rolling the dice, because it's just too few dice. Yeah, you get the reroll. It's an Eldar tank.
Well, you get basically 2 rerolls, don't you? Because it has a reroll baked into its data sheet.
Yeah. That's the one I mean.
And they were getting juiced up by the Tech Marines, so they were hitting on 2s and then usually wounding on 2s or 3s. I can't remember. I think it was 3s.
Their strength 14, so
yeah. And then they get to reroll their damage dice too, which, ouch.
Yeah, they're fun. I do miss them.
Yeah. So we did pretty good that round. Got 104 points, so that was a pretty strong victory for our team.
Yeah.
Round 5.
So before round 5, we went and had delicious barbecue.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and that was where the Ultramarines Librarius detachment was born. Thank you again, Joe. I'm very excited. And then, the next morning we rolled in.
I don't even remember what the name of the place was, but it was just kind of like this little diner, like mom and pop barbecue place, and it was so good.
Like, just it was. I had so much meat and like, mac and cheese and hot links and oh man, my stomach hurt that evening. And it was worth it.
The sides were amazing too. The carrots. I don't even know what they did to these carrots, but they were. They might have just been completely drowned in butter.
I mean, you know what? You don't need to see how the sausage is made. Just enjoy it.
It was good. It was real good.
With an incredible food coma sleep, we then went into the next day and played against Mile High Militarum. These gentlemen were from Denver, and they were a very fun team to play. So in this one, I played against Troy Trujillo. He was playing Eldari. His first mistake in that was not being Matt Laura. And then also, like, I had gotten drawn by Matt Laura, so I had vengeance on mind. Troy was a lovely, lovely chap. I did not let him play Warhammer.
Sadly, many elf lives were lost that day.
The TLDR of it was he went first, which I loved, because he moved his, like, it was a quarters mission, and he moved his Wraith Guard and some stuff over and like onto the expansion side, and then kind of got a unit on the middle. And then on my turn, I ignored the Wraith Guard. I was like, cool, we're never gonna talk to you. You're just in the corner there, and you're never gonna do anything. And I got in the middle with one of the baby carriers, the NDKs, roasted his unit, charged it with strikes, like took the objective back, scored max secondaries while coming out of deep strike and 9-inch just rolling the dice into a bunch of his units on his backfield, like just in his little back fortress. And I just got through and killed I think I killed warp spiders and shooting with flamers, and then I just got into him and just killed a bunch of his troop squads and all this stuff. On his turn, he was like, oh no, that's like a lot of my army, and you're contesting all but one objective on this board, and one of those that you're contesting is my home. So he threw the Avatar in from reserve to like charge my unit. He did. I think
Avatar of Cain or
of
the
Cain.
Eternal?
Of
Okay.
Cain.
Notably has the Demon Keeper.
Yes. And that's going to come in handy for later. But yeah, so he comes in. I think he killed like 2 of my Terminators, and then I just killed more elves. I didn't bother touching the Avatar yet. In fact, I think I used his kills to kill him out of combat with the squad, and then I killed the rest of the squad I was in combat with the Terminators that were like in his back lines. So on my turn, I came down, I shot the Avatar a bit, but nothing really happened to it. Like, I took a couple wounds, killed a bunch of other stuff in his backline. At this point, it's just an Avatar, and Drago's unit did the thing. Deep struck in, rolled my 6-inch charge, used my 2 CP. At this point, I probably didn't need to, but I wanted to see what would happen, and I rolled 6 hits, and I rolled 6 devastating wounds. That was 18 wounds in one fell swoop, and the Avatar was no more.
Did he have a Farseer babysitting it to give it -1 to be wounded? Which obviously doesn't that you? Oh,
Yeah, that's on my end. I don't know.
is that a smoke
Oh,
alarm?
that's my 3D printer.
Oh, okay. So, are you
For
on
a second,
fire right now?
I was like, maybe. No, my base toppers I printed already. But yeah, so I just like I don't remember. I don't think he did. I think the Farseer was dead. Actually, I think I'd
Ugh.
already killed him. Like
Oh.
a lot of bad things happened to a lot of elves that day.
Oh.
And I think the only unit he had was Wraithguard by the end. Like, I think maybe I sent some stuff in to kill him. I don't even know. We shook hands and had a very lovely conversation for the rest of the round.
Was that a
Yeah.
20?
That was a 20.
Wow.
Yeah.
You monster. The millennia of experience and knowledge just thrown away.
Yeah. No, I definitely felt like a war criminal.
I played Brian on his Thousand Sons, and I had the table pick, and I made the wrong pick.
Well, I don't think that's what it was. I think what you did was you
Oh, was this
picked
the
the
one where
right table. Yes, because I ended up playing on the table that you actually meant to be playing on.
Yeah, we were both very confused for what I don't know, whatever reason. Everyone else was already in the middle of their games, and we're trying to figure out measurements on the table, and apparently we were setting up the wrong one. So we played on the wrong table. Magnus had insane shooting lines all game, like the whole board. And this was the game where Lilith didn't do jack shit when she got into a fight with Ahriman.
Right.
Uh-huh.
He is Dust, to be fair.
No, he's not. He's alive.
Oh, is he?
Yeah. Yeah, all their actual psychic users are still Marines. It's just
it's
the ones
just the rubrics.
It's the ones who weren't psychers all got turned into rubrics.
Huh.
Yeah.
You learn something new every day.
Yeah, Armand's just a regular old dude. Anyway, so I was, as usual, just getting smoked because Thousand Sons double move with flamers, which destroy elves. Trying to think, I failed a 3-inch charge on turn 2, which was horrifying, and lost an entire Archon Incubi unit. Because of it. Shame on me. I should have used a pain token. I had pain tokens to burn, but who thinks they're going to fail a 3-inch charge? Because I did not have the command point for it. Anyway, but what ended up happening was I pulled another secret mission right out of my butt.
Let me guess. Unbroken Wall.
You know it, baby. And it literally came down to, I think, somebody had to make a 4-up save. It might have been Lilith had to make a 4-up save, because I think she lived. She lived that combat, and I think she ran away, and then came back in later. Yep. And it came down. Oh no, Magnus. Magnus was being a big bully, and Heroic intervened on the last round, the bottom of turn 5, when I charged. I stupidly fell back with these 2 mandrakes that were in combat with him. I should have just left him tagged.
Yeah.
Like, who cares? I don't know what I was thinking. I fell back with them to try to move block him. I don't know what I was thinking. I was just brain dead at this point.
It's been a long weekend at this point.
But yeah, it just came down to me making a 4-up invulnerable save to have 1 OC survive to outscore Magnus on 1 objective, and then I got my secret mission, and then I scored my primary that turn too, so I flipped it from an 8. I think I was going to score 8, and I think I flipped it to a 12, so that was
wow.
Yeah, that was a big swing.
Yeah, that's a loss to a win. Good job, buddy.
Yep. Yeah, and Brian was super cool. I could tell he was a little flustered at the end because he definitely was in control for that whole game. And
I'm noticing a theme with you, Joe.
Yeah, I can do sneaky elf shit. on the bottom of turn 5 to score a bunch of points. But all right, round 6.
Smite
We
Club.
did, and we won that round. By the way,
We did win that round.
87 points.
Yeah, and then we played Smite Club, which was another awesome round. Honestly, I had such a great time at this tournament because, like, I had nothing but great opponents. And in this round, I had the absolute pleasure of playing Evan Yoshioka, Yoshi as we called him, and we had a very cagey Blood Angels Grey Knights trade war for the most part until it went full carnage at the very end. I didn't have many miniatures left on the table by the end, but I still pulled out a win because I just
Wow.
had eked out enough points. But yeah, it's kind of like not dissimilar from the way that I had to play the game with World Eaters, where I sat very far back, killed what I could kill, and then had to weather the storm. Then got to play with what was left afterwards. Absolutely wonderful opponent. I think he held me to an 11-9, to be honest, if I'm remembering this correctly. So it was a pretty close game. Or if it wasn't an 11-9, it was still a close game. So he was able to blunt my my scoring potential in that one, and we had a really fun game. Yeah.
I played Tim and his AdMech, which was not fun at all. Because
Oh, this was that's not a list. Why did we do that to you? Why did we do that to you, Joe?
I don't know. I think I've only played AdMech one other time in 10th edition, and they have 10 billion units that all look the same and have wildly different rules on what they do. So, yep. He just had way more stuff than me and could just out-trade me all over the place. Oh, I failed a 3-inch charge in this game, too, on turn 1. That was awesome. I did not have CP or a pain token to reroll that one.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So that was another Incubi squad just flushed down the toilet for nothing. Anyway, yeah, I tried to do a secret mission on this one and I failed. So Tim smoked me pretty hard.
You had a pretty good track record, so nothing to sneeze at.
Mm-hmm. So that ended. I think the team ended 3-3. 28 out of. Oh, I have a graphic. Oops. Oh, it's not doing it. Dang it. It had a little GIF it was supposed to do. Oh well. We ended up 28 out of 56. Right in that meaty part of the bell curve.
Yeah.
Not falling behind, not showing off.
We were aggressively average, and it was fun. It was a good place to be, and I do see that you were shouting out our number 2, our number 1, number 2 in the entire thing, Nicholas Farley,
Yeah.
who just spent most of the weekend just punishing people with violence, with
Yes, he
pure,
did.
raw, unadulterated violence, and being a lovely sport about it while he did. So,
And look, we landed right behind Mile High Militarum and right above Lightly Salted Himalayan.
I didn't actually realize that.
We had a little sandwich of the team.
Great.
Yeah.
A lightly salted sandwich.
Mm-hmm.
Tasty.
So yeah, it was a great experience. That was my first team tournament ever. I had no idea what was going on when pairings were happening. It was like people were playing a card game and I didn't know the rules, so I just sat there and twiddled my thumbs until just nope, don't put me into that. Nope, don't put me into that. I don't think I had one positive like matchup. Like, ooh, I want that army. Everything felt terrible to me.
So you got thrown squarely at mostly T-Suns?
Yeah, or some sort of chaos adjacent type army.
So what was your favorite thing and least favorite thing about the team format?
Oh, my most favorite thing was just having a group to go with, because I usually am just going to tournaments by myself. So like having a group to go out, just hang out with afterwards was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, that is honestly one of the best things about teams events is like the camaraderie. Like you're all together. You're all there together. You
Mm-hmm.
go out, you have an inbuilt kind of like group. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I would definitely do future team tournaments as well, preferably with a better list. And hopefully some like team what's the word I'm thinking for? Just like kind of strategizing a little bit more beforehand on what our lists are and what they're supposed to
Yeah.
be doing. So
More of a team comp rather than a collection of singles lists.
yes, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, that is the next level. And what was your least favorite thing about the experience?
I think just like by nature of like a team, like it's the same with like playing like League of Legends. Like you just crush your lane, and then the rest of the team kind of flubs it, and then everybody loses. Not that I was crushing anything but like I could tell I would have that feeling if I was doing well, but just kind of a bummer. Like you're just playing your ass off, and then like, oh, just barely squeaked by with a win, and then boom, everyone else just got kind of dumpstered, and now everybody loses. But
Yeah, that's fair. Fair.
but like I said, 100% would do it again.
Yeah, teams is I always say teams Warhammer is a hell of a drug. It I think it makes a lot of the I mean we're in a really good place right now balance wise, but I feel like especially with 8-man teams, you like everyone kind of has the best lists. Like everyone has a T-Sons, everyone has sisters pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
And then you build from there and it starts opening up interesting like things where you need players playing other armies, and I think team comp can be really interesting. The strategy of the pairings is something I'm trying to get better at, and I've had some exposure to teams. It's very different though when I'm with Art of War and I am being put into gentle pairings, or I'm expected to do a 9 or a 10. But like that's a very different job than Cass like go get a 16 or a 20, which ended up some rounds being what I needed to do. So it was interesting experiencing a different role than I typically do, even though originally what was communicated to me was exactly that role. But it didn't end up being my role necessarily. But yeah, had a really fun time. The event itself, I was very impressed with how they ran it, considering it was like the first. The only thing I'll say is I did not care for the FLG tables. Like those, I understand for a lot of people this was their first exposure to WTC, and I know that could be emotionally jarring too, because they're aggressive tables. But I liked those. I liked the GW layouts, but the FLG layouts, I appreciate that they're trying to make their terrain sets work. But I didn't love it personally. But
I don't
everything
think
else,
they played on one of those the whole time.
You're lucky. It was it's not good.
Okay.
Not good.
My chances of dying were still 100% on the table, regardless of the terrain layout. So, anyway, yeah. So that was Champions Cup. Awesome. I definitely hope we can go again next year.
Yeah. Good fun.
And you've got judging to do this weekend at Cascade Clash.
Yeah, I am looking forward to that. See some pretty toys and also judging the game as well. So yeah.
Oh, you're gonna be a rules judge too. Oh,
I did both last time as well. But yeah.
Do you have a black robe and gavel to carry around with you, since you are the ultimate judge?
I do not.
Oh, powdered wig.
Okay, now you're giving me ideas. But I feel like Aegis games should pay for that.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest, like that should be provided.
I mean, you're
I
the
will wear
ultimate
it.
judge of the tournament, so I mean,
Hey, I'm not the ultimate judge. I think I'm the ultimate paint judge, but I don't know. I'll get assigned my job when I get there. But I'm there to help out, basically. If you are attending, I'm looking forward to seeing you, seeing your toys, and yeah, good luck to everyone, both in the invitational RTT, the charity RTT that is happening day one, or the tournament itself. I hope to see 2 new people from the Pacific Northwest coming to Atlanta for WCW with the golden tickets we're giving away.
all right.
Joe,
And
what are you
then
up to?
my buddy Trucker Joe, the infamous Trucker Joe, is running this tournament, Rumble in the Rivers, in Fort Wayne, Indiana, on October 26th, which I will be attending,
Awesome.
bringing 3 kill rigs,
Most awesome.
which I'm not super looking forward to trying to paint between now and then, but we'll
If
see what
anyone
happens.
can do it, it's you.
Yeah.
How big is the event? How many people are registered?
I think they have 50 signed
Nice.
up out of 80. So this is their second year. They're by their own admission. Last year was riddled with issues, and they have corrected many of them this year. So
That's all you can ask for.
yep. And I think War Games Live will be there as well.
Awesome.
Man, that
I lo-
dude, he goes from Champions Cup to, did he do LGT? I think he did.
I think he did.
London?
Yeah.
And now out to Washington State like 3 weeks in a row.
Joe
Holy
is
crap.
and he was a WTC and he's everywhere, man. Joe is we don't deserve Joe. Joe is a force of nature. Yeah, absolutely, legend, absolute legend.
So, yep. All right. I guess that's that. We'll recap Cascade Clash in 2 weeks.
All right. Well, good to be back. I missed this, so we'll see you.
Yeah,
in a
we should
couple
be
weeks.
back on our kind of regular schedule now that the insanity of summer is concluded.
Finally
So,
over. I
yeah.
know the air is brisk and the leaves are orange. I'm a very happy man.
Yeah. All right, buddy. Well, have a good night and see you later.
You too. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye.